So David, can you speak a little bit to what are some hallmarks of an entrepreneurial culture or a culture of innovation that organizations should be trying to foster here?
Well, one of them is to not be afraid of failing and making mistakes. If you don't fail every now and again, if you're not making mistakes, one, you're not learning, and two, you're not taking on enough challenges, because whenever there's deep uncertainty, you're never going to have everything cut and dried. If you're looking for perfection and the right investment opportunity that's going to be precisely correct all the time, you're going to miss a lot. So part of it is building a culture. It's okay to make mistakes so long as you take ownership for them and you recognize that this is part of the life that you're going to have to live. We actually even celebrate a good failure, whereas abroad, we try that in the Middle East or even in Europe, the notion of failing is anathema. And so what happens is people won't take enough initiative. So there has to be that willingness to accept that. I think the other thing is making a clear distinction between accomplishments and financial rewards. I think there's a lot of naivete in the public that managers get up every day and what they're focused on is just making money. I guarantee you, if you focus just on making money, you won't. At least you won't make much. You may get some short-term stuff, but if you think about Jobs and Wozniak with Apple, did they get up wanting to make money? No, they wanted to bring the world computing. They wanted to take on IBM. I mean, IBM was a nemesis. That was a sort of a shortcut through to let's build something that's really friendly. Let's give everybody a computer that they could use that's very user-friendly. As Steve Jobs put it, his goal was to, quote, make a small dent in the universe.
Yeah.
Well, along the way, they made quite a bit of money, although for many, the first decade or so of his career in Apple, he wasn't a wealthy guy at all. Eventually he was. But it's a side benefit. And then, of course, you end up giving it all away anyway. But people have to realize that part of this environment is about having a vision and having a goal and wanting to have impact. That's the way that you can be entrepreneurial, because then you can find the zeal and the passion to do it. That means you're going to have to do a few zigzags. You're going to have to back up and say that was a mistake. So that's part of entrepreneurship. I think another part of it is what I call a bias for action. Tom Peters talked about this in his early book, In Search of Excellence. There was a chapter on a bias for action. And when you think about it in the abstract, why should you have a bias for action? Bias is usually something that's considered bad. You're supposed to avoid biases, right? So why a bias for action? Well, it's because action is the way in which you learn. And if you look at the whole lean startup methodology, it's all about you forge ahead, pivot, because you're not going to get it right. When there's deep uncertainty, if in doubt, do. And this is what a lot of people don't understand, is if in doubt, don't do, is the mantra that most people would articulate. But for an entrepreneur, if in doubt, do. Of course, not do in big lumps, but do in incremental way so that you can begin the process and start to learn. So that's some of the key elements, but there's 100 of them that go along with innovation, and there's no one size fits all.